to the grand final, both of them being best of threes. So, look, that was a very, very tight series yesterday, and I'd be expecting nothing less. I'm reckoning it's probably going to be a bit of a closer three-mapper, probably.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I think that there is definitely a world, in my opinion, where we might see Encore able to walk away with a win 2-0, but I'd probably be leaning towards VERTEX grabbing Inferno again. They've looked pretty decent on this map so far in this competition, and it seems like they're sort of, integrating those two new members quite nicely. But of course, before we get too far into this pistol round, we do have to reiterate this is the qualification game for DreamHack Melbourne. So this will decide our first team through, and I'm sure all these teams are going to be quite keen to pick that up.
No doubt. You're going to get a massive fight on towards top mid, and all of the kills go in the way of Encore and Bracket. That was, not too much to say about that.
That was over in the blink of an eye.
That's how, you never want to see how the sausage is made, but that's how the sausage is made.
True. All right. Well, look, I'd be interested to hear from everyone at home as well as to where they think this matchup is going to go, because I know there's going to be a lot of locals tuning into this one. There's going to be a lot of you guys from Australia in the Twitch chat, so let us know who you think's going to walk away with the win.
Where's the boys at?
Yeah, where's the boys? Is it going to be VERTEX or is it going to be Encore? Who do you actually want to see at DreamHack as well? That's an interesting question. Not necessarily who do you want to win or who do you think's going to win, but who would you like to see there? Obviously, a bit of a more quiet round, you'd think, here from VERTEX with just the pistols. But they do try to go quickly, and it's a bit of a dangerous prospect when you're letting Sterling pick up so many kills like that, I think.
I mean, both of those first two rounds going very similarly. Had a very nice anti-eco there for Encore, and now they bought up over on the VERTEX side. Got a couple of Galils so that they can get themselves a couple of extra pieces of utility. I'm always whinging about how important the extra grenades are on T-side Inferno. Run your map control protocols and whatnot. A few rifles here on Encore, so not too much of a bonus here. They really are going to try and give this one a crack. We'll see what VERTEX's approach is going to be. A little bit of Nana control being attempted. 4-man stack up for Encore and straight into the Carps aggression. First round.
Yeah, Sterling going to take a early fight against Malta as well. It's not going to quite go his way. APOC not quite getting the timing right with that grenade, but he's at least able to get out alive, though he has lost a lot of his HP. And it feels like a very high-paced game already compared to what we watched between VERTEX and Aftershock. That was a very slow game. A lot of more passive T-side rounds, CT side rounds, played out a little bit more standard. But I feel like Encore and VERTEX are really both trying to bring a faster game here on Inferno to start things off in this series.
Yeah, VERTEX with that man advantage, cutting the brakes. Plenty of util for them. Taking their time, moving through the map. Off angle from Ustillo gets absolutely decked by Vexite. That's going to be a 2-man advantage now, and it's still a fair bit of map control here for VERTEX. Not in a rush to be going anywhere. They pulled an extra rotation over to B. Just has her alone in the pit on the A site with nothing but a FAMAS.
He's hearing a lot of footsteps. He's getting that rotation in from APOC. Not sure how much help that's going to be, though. All he has is HE nade and 26 HP to his name. Stuck behind that smoke right now, and I spoke too soon. APOC gets the double, found the timing, and was able to catch a couple of freebies off. May not really matter hugely, though, because VERTEX is headed back over toward the A-bomb site anyway. And unfortunately for Encore, it's just not going to be enough.
Yeah, good pick from Valiance. You could have seen if Hazard finds timing there, maybe gets another pick, that round could start to get a little bit on the spicy side. But VERTEX, even after losing that those 2 men over towards the B site, they put things back under control. And Encore say 2 guns over, and we'll have plenty of cash to be able to reinvest in that next round, maybe even mix an AWP in there. So already, like you said, explosive couple of opening rounds here. Like VERTEX keeping their heads firmly screwed on after finding man advantage, just taking their time, seeing if they can eke out more mistakes out of the CT side or more aggressions that they can punish. VERTEX the other day having a pretty good T side on this map, if I remember correctly. Just go back and take a look at the stats. It was an 8-7 for VERTEX on their T side, and they started with pistols. So this time Encore has got a better start. They've taken that pistol. Lose the first gun round, but now the reinvestment coming through. if you're going to follow that same trajectory as the last half of Inferno, where VERTEX started T-side, you'd be really backing them to have a really good run here on this T-side, especially if they're going to take one of these first gun rounds. Like this gun round here could be a bit of reset potential onto that CT side. Encore changing up their setup, though. You saw them in the last gun round go for that carpet control this time. More members over towards banana side, spam back and forth through the top mid smoke. Next about 50, 60 HP a piece for either side.
Ooh. Well, I was going to say a little bit more of a reserved start to the round, but it doesn't last for long before we see a bit of an engagement. This time it's gone favorably enough for Encore. They'd want to bounce back after losing that last round in pretty convincing fashion, to be fair. Hazard doing just that, which, you know, means we're probably going to get some music kit after this round. It's another kill for him. He's just taken this round into his own hands and walked away with it. 3 kills, 1 for APOC. And VERTEX down to just Malta. It kind of feels like it's been a bit of a nothing round, unfortunately, from VERTEX. They've never really gotten into a position to do anything. They lost that pick over in Banana. Hazard rotates over to jungle, gets himself another 1v1 duel, and then wins another 1v1 duel, and that's kind of that.
Encore are looking very sharp, right? You know, they've got the confidence. They're just taking these duels in the early to mid round. Malta checking one back, but there you go. Hazard. That's, what is that, a 4K for him in that round?
Mm-hmm.
Big multi-frags coming in for him in a pretty important round, and that's going to break the T-side economy. So Encore not only winning that round, but passing with flying colors. They're going to net themselves 2K plus across the board and head into an anti-eco now. Off to a great start, CT side Inferno. So if VERTEX want to touch, you know, on a good T side like they did previously, then it's going to take a fair bit of concerted effort over a long period here, unless they can get significant damage done with these pistols.
I mean, it's not the most threatening looking pistol buy, though, is it? It's a couple of upgraded pistols, a couple of Tech 9s there, a little bit of armor for Vexite, and some util as well behind it. But it's not your traditional pistol armor buy. You don't have everyone with a set of armor, everyone with an upgraded pistol, and, you know, almost everyone with a set of util as well. It doesn't look too scary right now for Encore, I would say. They'll be able to blast through these armorless players. Maybe if Vexite can get close and, you know, knock a couple of heads off, possible.
Looking at that counter util from the CT side, already one molly bled out, but still a fair bit of util on that player at New Box. Here comes this BXE.
You still out. Waiting and ready. Crossfire established with Savage, who hasn't given away his position just yet. And as soon as he does, you see a head knocked off of a VERTEX player. That is clean as a whistle, almost. Vexite actually doing some pretty good work with that Tech 9 on the back end of the round. But it was always going to be Encore's round win. It was just a question of how cleanly they were going to be able to do it.
I mean, this is why we love watching Encore matchups with, I mean, previously the Order Core, but even like now VERTEX is like, you get to see pretty much all of the like younger players in the OS region who have just spades and spades of talent go at it. Get to see some very flashy rounds, some flashy highlights. Really nice rifle aim with the AK from New Box position there from Savage. Love to see that. In another buy though for VERTEX. AWP out for PC. Missed first opportunity to actually find the opener on that player heading in towards Banana side. Double nade all the way into the chicken pit there. Takes out Vexite. Encore pulling out all the tricks here. They've also got that banana control with the anti-flash position up on half wall. This round is going excellently for them as well. And if they win this gun round, they could be off to a pretty quick 6-1 lead if they close the subsequent anti-eco.
Yeah, look, I mean, it is still very early days, even if this round does go the way of Encore and it's a 5-1. It's too early to call anything, but this is a pretty threatening looking Encore on a map the VERTEX won last night. This is VERTEX's map choice. It's the map they were able to take away from Encore yesterday. If they're going down 5-1 or worse than that to start off this series, that might be getting into the back of their heads a little bit. They'd be thinking, okay, well, this is kind of the map that we needed to win. And I wonder if that changes the way that this series plays out at all. Obviously,
I mean, these opening couple of gun rounds have not looked close at all.
No, exactly.
VERTEX have won one of them where they had like they got the first couple of opening picks. and then you had the save come through. But the rest of the other rounds from Encore have just been them kind of taking mid-round peaks, taking duels, and winning them all.
Yeah. And yesterday we, as we see that round get cleaned up,
just
like
getting deleted.
Yeah, yesterday
APOC hasn't even died yet.
The order of the maps was the Encore pick first and then Inferno. So it was Dust 2, then Inferno. We've got the exact same map pool. It's just swapped around. And I just wonder, if that's... I mean, that is... Theoretically, Encore have chosen that. Because they come into this with the veto advantage. They get to choose how the veto plays out. Whether they choose to pick first or pick second. And so they've opted to play, essentially, their opponent's map first. And move on to their own map second. So I wonder if that's just sort of what the reason for that is. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe there's no reason. Maybe it's just arbitrary. But if you can put this on the board going into your own map choice.
That is to choose whatever the last map is, right? Choose between the last two.
Right. Well, I mean, regardless of that fact, if you can win your own map, win your opponent's map, and then know that you've got your own map in the back pocket as well for the second map in the series, then put yourself in a good spot. APOC just able to get around the corner. Was tagged, moving slowly for a second, but able to survive long enough to grab himself another one. And Malta actually deletes Hazard rather than APOC. Bomb's going to be retrieved. A bit ballsy from Brace.
Still only pistols here. Haven't been able to recover a rifle despite these two players quite low. Starting to get these rotations across from Encore. Moto Smoke is going to buy the space for the plant to go down here for the T's. Malta's found himself an AK and he's going to refresh that Moto Smoke. But Encore slowly starting to reposition, clear out some of these close positions and set themselves up, make sure they've got all their ducks in a row and all the utility. In comes this dig aggression though.
Yeah, not a bad kill for Brace to be finding. Particularly given the fact that Sterling is low, he'll go over to a gust of wind, and then it might be off to the races. Malta is finding more and more, and the AK strikes. A double kill. Brace did great work in that round with the Tech 9 as well, and Vertex are able to sneak one back where perhaps they otherwise shouldn't, and this is going to have to be something they can now try to look to snowball.
Yeah, good aggression into dig in that 2-on-4. You can't just stay stagnant on the site and allow those CTs to set up the picture-perfect retake they want to be going for. You have to get aggressive. You have to cut down the numbers before they're able to actually scale onto the site and have that trade potential. So Vertex, very heads-up play with that dig aggression and great little maneuvering around the site from Malta, just taking multiple angles, jumping up on boxes and taking fights with that AK. Nets Vertex, a round they had no business winning, a half buy or a bit more of an eco round with a couple of sets of armor. They complete a 2-on-4. Now they go into this gun round with a whole lot more reset potential against Encore. Got some banana control. Working the map relatively slowly, just leaving Malta over towards Carpet's side.
Nade over the top from Vexite. It's going to really just be nothing more than a tickle on to Savage.
Look at how much util that Encore's holding. They have not thrown a single nade here. Just so much util. The jump spot nets a little bit of a leg for Brace.
Yeah, Sterling, so quick. It's going to send Vertex back over toward the A bomb site, which is not a bad place to be, all things considered. You've only got the two defenders, Hazard and APOC there. But they have lost Vertex to a nade over in Banana. And the rotations come through as well from Sterling. He's got this side of the site locked down, just watching from Library. And he'll make no mistake. APOC's also getting the job done on Balcony, and it just looks like this is one of those rounds that's going to, unfortunately, peter out a little bit for Vertex. Decent trade-in from Hazard. Made it look easy. And that round indeed was easy for Encore. A good response to what they had, suffered in the last round.
Yeah. Definitely probably kicking themselves for losing a 4-on-2 against Tech 9 and an AK, but in these gun rounds, Encore has looked like the much better squad. Already up 6-2. Forcing again Vertex back onto a bit of a half buy, a couple of hero AKs in there, not much util to play with. Vertex really got to hit their shots in a round like this. But if this can be a bit more of a cleaner round for Encore, a good chance for them to build their money up. It's a little bit fragile right now. A bit of a totem pole up on top of those logs. Give Brace an angle he can work with to find that opening. They're not seeing anything. Just going to probe the top of Banana, try to draw out some util from the CT side so that they can create a timing later on in the round that maybe that they can abuse. That's a cute little play from VERTEX. So just trying to boost up Brace, give him some angles to work with where he may be able to find that opener.
Again, presence in Banana from VERTEX. They like to set up in that area of the map around this time. Doesn't necessarily mean they're going to commit to B, but given they've got 4 members over there, Malta being the sole lurker at A, generally that's going to mean VERTEX will head toward B. Even now you can see that Malta is starting to make his way in that direction as well.
Both Molly's still here though, Jordan. Usilo's going to drop one of them. Savage has still got his Molly on new box. This is going to be a very difficult B hit to pull off.
Yeah, and there's not that much in the back pocket for VERTEX either. Just one Molly of their own. It's going to go towards coffins. It won't be a problem for either Ustilo or Savage. And Savage is already going to grab 2 on the entry, making it look pretty clean. Malta's been having a good map here. He's getting some decent damage done, but I'm not sure that there's going to be enough really available for him. Oh. Good shot from Vexite. Ultimately, though, the round win will go the way of Encore. And again, one step closer. 7-2 now. So they're doing very well for themselves in this first half.
Yeah, tech timeout from VERTEX. Gonna have a bit of a chat about what's going on. Couple of kills chipped in here and there means that this CT side money is still very resettable. 1,400 loss bonus. Couple of these CTs looking quite poor. VERTEX knows they just need to get that one good call, that one good gun round across the board, and maybe they can start to close this round gap. See what they've come up with here. And we'll see if there's going to be any change up for Encore. This is a team that yesterday when we were watching them on various maps, they had no issues changing up their CT side setups. They love to just go balls to the wall aggressive sometimes. Throw deep smokes and push through them. Go mix in a carpet setup, mix in aggression into second mid, peeking into window room. Again, there's another deeper smoke. Maybe thinking about a bit of a boost over the top of it, maybe. Or a double nade into the chicken pit again. Did get them a kill on Vexite earlier. Pretty quiet map from PZ, who starting off at the beginning of today was one of the highest rated players in the tournament.
Ustilo, good raw adjustment onto Vexite. Dispatches of him pretty quickly. Another good start to another round for Encore. It feels as though it's been nigh impossible for VERTEX to get the opening frags.
Yeah, it's been very hard for them to read as well. Now Ustilo ready with that Coffins flash, maybe to set up Savage, but with the man advantage, I don't feel the need to go for that. Malta still working carpets. The rest of the boys trying to creep on into B. Ustilo to take first contact. Off angle from Savage on top of first orange, but he's playing anti-flash. He gets punished for it. Ustilo now playing retake. Side control goes to VERTEX, but still without the man advantage.
Oh, Ustilo's going to continue to challenge just before that smoke blooms, and he's able to catch Brace a little unawares. In the meanwhile, Hazard on that flank, rotating in through CT, gets another one. Crossfires are definitely there and working for Encore. Malta, who, again, has kind of been the shining light of success for VERTEX so far in this matchup, is alone. So I'm not sure that he's going to really be able to do too much.
Well, they're giving him a lot of respect. No one's peeking into him at all until he makes contact onto that CT player. That's just good protocols and very, very good discipline being shown by Encore, despite the fact that they're so far ahead. Throwing away extra guns into Malta there really wouldn't do them any good at all. So making sure that they're peeking only off the contact of another player and retaining 4 guns up is actually absolutely massive for their economy. Like I said, they was starting to look a little fragile at the start of that last round. Now they've definitely built up a fair bit more, and if they can close this anti-half buy, they could be in an even more stable position as we're starting to get into the later couple of rounds of this half. They could really set themselves up for like an 11-4 half if they keep along this trajectory.
And the other thing is, there's a couple of the VERTEX members really struggling to get into this game. You know, it may be a situation where they've had a bit of a cooldown, had some dinner, done what they needed to do, and just not feeling too warmed up heading into this grand final, and that's just not going to cut it against a team like Encore. It's really only Malta and Vexite that are being able to push the team forward in a couple of these situations, and you can't be relying on just the two players when you're against a team like Encore. So
yeah, they're also like running a very up-tempo style, which does kind of rely on hitting in on those entries. But as you can see from Encore's scoreline across the board, there's no weak link right now. No one's missing their shots. You're running into brick walls every which way you go. So VERTEX are going to have to find some more creative solutions than just trying to, you know, bash their heads into a brick wall until it breaks. They're going to have to, you know, add a little bit more nuance in. Maybe try to find some nice timings to find some flash plays or something like that.
yeah, I'd like to see VERTEX kind of try to find a way to slow this game down a little bit. I'm not talking about the pace of the rounds, but we're 11 rounds in already, and it's been like 16 minutes, 15 minutes. Yeah. It feels like we've been going through this first half very quickly. They've had little time to think. They haven't had any time to really mentally reset after any of these rounds.
Yeah.
Need to be seeing 100%. Some tack timeouts coming through, or just some slower rounds, something to slow it down. Otherwise, Encore's going to continue just rolling through this. There's no reason to change things up as far as Encore is concerned.
Yeah, 100%. Like, it is definitely a thing that when a game feels like it's going by the wayside very quickly, it can really affect your mental. It can kind of feel like things are playing themselves out rather than you having control over what's happening in the match.
Just kind of feels like it's getting away from VERTEX a little bit, but maybe a chance in at another round right here. Malta, two very nice entries from the balcony. They've still got to deal with Sterling on the site, and he's quite nicely gotten a smoke down that he can play around. He spotted out Valiance as well. Headshot angle, that's going to be good enough. Swaps out to the orb. No scope onto Vexite, and Sterling steps up on the defense. Malta will be wondering, what else does he have to do? Two entries onto the site, but it won't matter. Sterling steps up in a big way.
Yeah, no one else is really contributing for VERTEX. And like I said, not a single player on Encore is missing a beat at all. Doesn't matter what part of the map you're going towards, they are just banging VERTEX out of the server left and right. Being pretty much infallible here on Inferno after, you know, what was a bit of a rockier game against VERTEX yesterday. They're very much going back to the drawing board and coming to this one prepared. Deep nades this time. I love this from Encore. Just small little adjustments here and there. You could see VERTEX waiting for the nades, and then you get those deep nades into T stairs this time for Encore. Very creative.
Playing them,
come into this one with good preparation.
Like a fiddle. PZ, Vexite tagged up pretty heavily. This time it is a bona fide pistol buy. Pistol armor, util across the board, but doesn't really feel as though it's getting Vexite and the rest of VERTEX anywhere. He'll be the one to sort of look to lead the charge again into that B bomb site. They had a bit of success with the Tech-9 in one of the previous rounds, but it really was just a little bit too little too late. Vexite getting that double. Now they're going to try again. Valiance and Vexite already down early on in the piece. Ustillo inevitably does get run down, but there's so many numbers on this bomb site that it is a formality for Encore.
I mean, PZ, we're 13 rounds into the game and he finally puts himself on the board, whereas last game of Inferno, literally yesterday, he 27 bombed. Granted that the majority of that was actually on the CT side. On T side, he kind of went like pretty even. CT side, he started to get himself rolling 150 ADR on CT side. But the way that this game is going, I'm not sure that VERTEX are going to get a CT side to play. He might not even get to the point in the game where he has money for all. Has PC even had an AWP this game?
I don't think so.
They've been playing very, very fast, right? Usually when you see the AWP purchases, you know, the T side slows down a little bit. You know, you're working the angles. Unless you get a good spawn for Nana or something like that. So, I don't know. Might be where it's going wrong.
Time running out in this half. VERTEX they'll pretty much need to get this one to 4 if they're to have a fighting chance in the next half. Otherwise, we could very quickly be on to Dust 2. And that would be a relatively unwelcome sight for VERTEX, who did drop that map in fairly convincing fashion yesterday. I mean, VERTEX started off well yesterday on the map, but just couldn't get it together at all on their T side. They did reasonably on CT, but the T side did not come together at all. So hopefully they've done similar amounts of work as what Encore clearly have from one day to the next on the map that they lost. Bearing in mind, obviously, Encore did drop this map yesterday to VERTEX. 16-12, if I remember correctly. It was reasonably close, but this is anything but.
I mean, another first kill for Encore. They're finding all the opening kills. I feel like VERTEX rather. It's happened to me now. VERTEX. Yeah. I feel like VERTEX have been 4v5 on this T side this whole half.
I was telling you this yesterday. It's a problem. Okay, Vexite on VERTEX.
You literally called Vexite VERTEX earlier or something like that.
I know, it happens all the time. Used to be the same thing when Dexter and Texter were playing against each other. Oh. Why they have to have such similar names, it makes it so difficult as a caster. But let's see what APOC can do from Graveyard. Runs out of bullets. A little unfortunate because he was in a good spot to maybe get a third there. Time not quite going to get the better of VERTEX. They'll be able to get that bomb down. But Sterling and Savage still able to work their way across. Nice spray from PZ. Now it's up to Savage. 1-on-2. Did get to see him pull off a couple of nice clutches yesterday against VERTEX. And here's a chance to go for yet another one. Calibration not quite on point. And PZ will get it done for VERTEX. So they're up to 11-3. Which is better than 11-2 or 12-2.
He gets his hands on the AWP as well. That could be a small amount of a difference maker. Bit of a change up in the style. You know, put him onto his comfort weapon. Look, a 4th round and a pistol. This could be a game. But 12-3 and not being able to win that next half pistol, that might be a very, very quick game.
Yep.
For Encore. So VERTEX need to make this gun round count. Aggression down mid from APOC, covered by Sterling. Gonna push all the way down into the cutout.
Yeah, clearly no issues with the fight. APOC up to something that we saw him doing a little bit yesterday. He got away with it a couple of times. And I'd say this is the pass score for him. Getting that 1-for-1. Malta just taking a bit of a peek out of the balcony. We'll spot Sterling, who... You know, he might think he's on a rotate, but Sterling's actually on his way back to have a look, and that has completely bamboozled Malta. A little bit of false info there for him. Sterling gets the better of it. Hazard's got the smoke to peek over as well. The one way Valiant's had no idea, could not see him. So it seems as though we'll be headed towards a 12-3.
Yeah, most likely. PZ and Vexite going to try to bring back another 2-1-4 for VERTEX, but these are not the way that they wish they could get the rounds done. Dink from Hazard.
The nade.
Puts PZ super low. The nade is for Vexite. He's nice and close.
He was hoping it was PZ there, I think, Sterling. But in the end, Yustillo's going to finish that job. And Vexite on the site. Yustillo maybe wasn't aware of that. Not sure. He was looking in toward brackets. They should be able to get this one done as a duo, though. Lots of space provided for the CTs. Holds down the spray there, Vexite, but it's not enough. And Savage will get his man in the end. 12-3 the scoreline. Very solid stuff from Encore to start off the first map. We'll take a halftime break and be back in just a sec.
a beautiful life. It's a beautiful life, don't you think? It's a beautiful life. It's a beautiful life, don't you think? If we go down in history. If we go down in history. How can I save you when you're tangled in your lies? Caught up in the middle, I can see it in your eyes. Lonely in the corner, waiting for somebody to come and save you from the cold of night. Easily.
Welcome back to the second half between Encore and VERTEX, and things are very close indeed if you're, thinking about yesterday's matchup. But today, completely different scenario. It's 12-3, and Encore have really run away with things in that first half.
100%. Looking at the opening duels, and Encore won 14 out of 15 opening duels in that first half. A very rough state of affairs for VERTEX. You're going to need to switch themselves on, particularly for this pistol. Aggression in towards bracket. Hasn't started well for VERTEX at all.
Yeah, not really. Valiance and Brace combining for a few kills there. VERTEX are doing a reasonable job, actually. Sterling is now left in a 1-on-2. Plant's going to go down, but that's going to give some opportunities for those two CTs to start to encroach, and he's put himself in a really awkward spot now. Not much chance of winning it there. So the pistol round was much required by VERTEX, and they've gotten it. Yeah, I mean, yesterday's Inferno was a lot closer than this, and I still have a degree of faith maybe that VERTEX can bring this one back. We saw them be pretty good on their CT sides yesterday.
Yeah.
So hopefully they got something to show us.
I mean, their Inferno T side yesterday was like one of their better T sides, I felt, that we've seen over this competition. Honestly, a lot of, and considering it's VERTEX, I'm surprised, but a lot of their T sides have looked a little bit flat this competition. More flat than usual. Encore, no strangers to the second round force, as we all know. Back 10s and armor across the board, and AK and a little bit sparse for you, Tilt. Give this round a bit of a crack, working the map. Pretty spread approach, trying to go for some carpets control, contesting banana.
Race not quite going to be able to win that duel against Savage.
Yeah, loses life in towards Dig's side. Gonna get that re-aggression on towards Dig's side from Valiance perhaps, but chooses to sit back in the site. Encore now grouping up for a bit of an A site hit through Dig.
Stillo finds that timing onto PZ, who did actually get the shot onto Hazard, but now really it's just Valiance trying to defend. He's got a little bit of backup in Malta, but that'll be knocked over quickly as well. X-Site. Again, another new addition to the team. He's going to have to step up in a big way in this round to get something on the board for VERTEX and kind of stave off that 13th, stave off the force by victory. Sterling burning to that Molotov, goes low. And Justillo's position well and truly known. It's a Mac 10 versus Famus. This is not going to be fun for Justillo. Time still favorable enough for Vexite. He's got that defuse kit closing the gap. Justillo's played him like a fiddle though. And 13 is on the board for Encore. It's a streaky victory, but a win no less. And a real nail in the coffin for VERTEX's chances on this map.
Yeah, I mean, that's even worse than losing the pistol. Is losing the second round. Their money's absolutely cooked. Got to go for a bit of a pistol force, but if that doesn't go their way, then this map might just be done and dusted.
Yep. It's kind of been heading in that direction for a little while now. Only half an hour since we started this series, and we might be, you know, in 10 minutes or so thinking about moving on to Dust 2.
It feels like even, I mean, Vexite, he's had a couple of good rounds here and there, but I'd say for the most part, the only one he feels like he's playing at his normal kind of standard is Malta, maybe Vexite as well. The rest of Vertex need to kind of wake up a little bit.
Yeah.
Double entry from Savage in towards Carpet side. Gonna make this round very awkward. Brace alone on this A side. There's a whole lot of work to do, but they are just avoiding him like the plague. Straight out Carpets. He's gonna try and go for a quick flank.
Kind of has felt like Brace has started to come online a little bit. He's taking it back, but maybe just a bit too little too late. Has that one on lockdown pretty comfortably. So it's Malta and Vexite now who have nothing really to play for in this round. Malta's got a Mac 10. He'd maybe like to upgrade to a Glil if you can find Hazard there. Pretty risky business, given it was so deep into Carpets, and he'll just continue on his merry way through the brackets.
Yeah, Encore gonna have to probably push Modo's side to save. Can't save in pit anymore. And they will avoid all their CTs on the way out of the site. So 14's up for Encore. Vertex now probably going to have to... I mean, they can single save and play for OT. PZ was kind of saving for AWP anyway with the $700 in the bank account. So that's probably what I'd be expecting to see.
Yeah, full save from Vertex. They're going to fight for OT. Didn't really have too many options, though, to be fair. Nade's going over the top.
All of Encore are within 2 frags of each other, like... just all of them getting it done by committee, all of them passing the test in terms of the firepower.
Savage chooses the correct side to hold, and Malta doesn't quite clear it properly. Will lose his life. That's a Sharpie from Vexite, but instantly traded it down, so no harm really done for Encore just yet. Race would be quaking in his boots. He's got a Mac 10, but he's got no armor at all. Doesn't look like a fun place to be.
Encore grouping up, sizing up this A side of the map, starting to get some rotations across though. Vertex giving up B. But with only USPs and a Mac 10, how much can they really get done? Encore just applying pressure to bracket. Gonna throw a Moto smoke and then just creep back into B. They got plenty of util. They could kind of just push and pull Vertex around the map. Apply pressure to A and then walk into B. Looking pretty good for him. Encore thinking about coming back to A here. Because still I haven't seen anyone. They're assuming it's a B stack. But after seeing those CTs...
Could have gone wrong.
I mean, you still could have died, but they still could have gone back to B. He was really just playing the role of the money man there, trying to find the info on A. Either way, though, 15's up for Encore. This has been an absolute throttling in the first map from Encore. Vertex, I mean, I don't think there's any world where they win 9 in a row. The form that they're bringing into this game, is it 9? Is my math terrible? My math is terrible. It's 11 in a row. Any world where they live in 11 in a row, but they can at least try to bring back some confidence and win some brownie points heading into the next map. If they could just pick up a couple of gun rounds.
With a buy like this, though, Pilski, what do you rate their chances? Look at the util. There's barely anything.
The util's bad. Yeah, you're not wrong, but they need to win some duels. And yeah,
Race has done well enough.
2 for 2 on brackets. I don't know if it's going to be good enough.
We'll see. I mean, there is a world where PZ doesn't get checked here. It's one of those funny positions that sometimes gets a bit disregarded. Encore are not picking the pace up, though. They're definitely taking their time. They're going to try and cross the T's, dot the I's, make sure they 100% this round. And they've got options as well. They've got time. If they want to, they can go back to B. Not doing anything silly.
bait the CTs into looking for info, and it's worked very, very well. Traded it down into a 2-on-1. And Encore just going to run it back to B.
Run it back. Vexite, though, his spider senses are tingling, and he's headed in that direction. Bomb.
No cross smoke.
Dropped by Sterling, who's pretty much just going to have to take this fight. Flash did go over the top, but didn't catch Vexite by the looks of things. And now it's on to APOC. Oh, did Vexite run out of bullets? I'm not so sure. It doesn't matter. APOC has won the duel. And that is going to be the end of map number 1. Encore picking up a comprehensive victory on a map that was yesterday won by VERTEX. So that does change the algorithm a little bit, I'd say. I think this is going to be a pretty quick series if that's anything to go by.
Yeah, 100%. Like, even just looking at the game yesterday, I think it was like a 16-8 or something like that.